happening. All right. The next 9 weeks. The next 9 weeks of the NFL season will answer a lot of questions about Jalen Hurts. Green Bay, the Cowboys, probably the Giant games. I don't think so much about stats. I think it's more about how he performs in those games. Because I'm going to make a point to you guys here. Okay? Dak Prescott this weekend, you better beat a down Packer team. The two biggest games, in my opinion, for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, I think it's the Packer game this weekend, and I think it's the Christmas Eve game against Jalen. Why in the world am I paying you $40 million a year? Why am I paying you? You know what, K. Robinson? I think Rodgers may win this game this weekend. He destroys the Cowboys every time he plays them. And he does own the Cowboys. Okay? Dak Prescott better beat Green Bay. It's at Lambeau Field. Bro, you better win that ball game. Or you know what's going to happen on Monday? Yours truly is going to start doing this. Cowboys have to get off him as fast as they can and move him or trade him. He's not going to win you a game that matters. Or the game at the end of the thing that matters the most, which is he's not going to win you that. He will never win you that. The amount of if you're going to pay $40 million for a quarterback, he better be able to win games like that. You can't have a guy making $1.5 million bucks in Jalen Hurts kick your ass all up and down the field at AT&T and then turn around and look at your owner and go, hey, I'm justified. I'm being paid this money. You lost to Rodgers and you lost to Jalen Hurts. Dude, not happening. The Cowboys are they're so nailed to that salary cap now that they can't do any lateral movement to try to improve the team. They're not going to be able to improve the team for the next 4 years. They're not. I think the Packers are going to win too. Look, man, I don't even have to really break it down. The Eagles are going to destroy that Washington team on Monday. It's not going to be close. And I love the talking heads trying to they're going to kick the shit out of that team. That's it. You know what, too? In a division opponent, you're supposed to kick the shit out of that team. Don't let them think they have life. You know, you hit him, run him over, kill him. Kill him. Don't wound him. The Washington Redskin Commander Snyders, whatever you want to call that shitbox organization. Kill it. Kill it. You go into that game stomping their brains out. You're going to kill that team. They're even saying this. When Wentz comes back, they're going back to him. Just think about it when you have to pay Parsons. Dak's going to be the casualty. Flex, Hurts got the right mindset. He was on with Kelsey's brother's podcast or podcast, and he was saying how he knows he needs a team around him, doesn't want to be the highest paid quarterback. That's a great sign. That's why I wrote this down. When it comes to the highest paid quarterbacks, I have the top 13 or 14, I think. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. If Dak Prescott has a shitload of pressure on him, got to win to justify the money. So far, this is watch this. Can I show you this? Before you start handing out paychecks to Jalen Hurts. You ready? Goff's money, failure. Wentz's money, failure. Russell Wilson's new contract, failure. We're going to get to this in a second here. Dak Prescott, failure money. Everyone goes, what's the market? So Dak's contract sucks. Goff's contract sucks. Wentz's contract sucks. Wilson's contract sucks. And you want to be part of that group? Mahomes? I think he's living up to his contract. 4 straight AFC championship games, a Super Bowl MVP, a regular season MVP. I think he's pretty good with it. Hurts should be top 10 paid. Good night. Yeah, you'll never win a game. Let's go to that now. Here are the highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League for 2022. Rodgers at $50.3 million. Is that contract worth it? Let's play the game here. Has the contract, it's not really fair because he just signed this year. But he's made a shitload. You think Rodgers' $50 million contract has been worth the investment by the Packers? No. I agree. You know how much money Brady's making this year? $25 million. There's your Jalen Hurts factor. So we circle him. Russell Wilson second at $49 million. You think that contract is worth it? On what he just signed with the Broncos? Off to a bumpy start, ain't it? Off to a bumpy start. How about we put incomplete? Because he just signed it. I don't think it's fair. Incomplete. Kyler Murray, 46.1, is third. He just signed it. But the coach may be fired after Sunday's game. You sign a brand new contract that pays you almost $50 million a year, and in the process that gets your coach fired? How do you think that thing looks right now for Steve Keim and the Bidwells? Dude, it'd be fair for me to say it's a failure, but I'm going to say incomplete here too. But dude, that thing's not going anywhere. There's no Aaron Rodgers, who's probably the greatest spinner of the football, which means the greatest thrower of the football. Okay? $50 million? Probably, but not really, because you haven't delivered. And I've said this before about Favre and Rodgers. So for 30 football years, you've had Favre and Rodgers, and you won only 2 Super Bowls? I don't know. They're doing something in Green Bay that's not right. Because in San Francisco, when you had Montana and Young, you won 5 of them. You won 5 Super Bowls with Montana and Young in less time. And you've had Favre and Rodgers for 30 years. 30 years. And you won 2? Deshaun Watson. We don't know yet. It's incomplete. Wow, look at all the huge question marks about the money that's being spent on some of these guys. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson. Whew. Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to put a star by that guy's name. He's living up to everything that Lee Steinberg, his agent, and the Hunt family have put in front of him. He's been a great representative for the NFL, for the Chiefs. My opinion, Patrick Mahomes has been an absolute superstar. So we're at 5, and he makes $45 million a year. Number 6 is Josh Allen at $43 million a year. Kid's the guy that's in the conversation right now for the most valuable player award. And by the way, Jalen Hurts last year in the playoffs was terrible. Josh Allen in the playoffs, that Bills team didn't lose because of him. They didn't lose because of him. That guy was spectacular. Xander and I came out on Monday, and you know what we were saying? I want one of those. I want one of those. That's what I want. I want one of those. Another guy. Question marks on health this week. We'll talk about it. How about this one? Yeah, well, wake me up when Jalen beats a team that matters or wins a game that's significant. I think you're going to see this contract moved. Derek Carr is 7th. He makes $40.5 million. You think the Raiders are getting their return on investment? That's a terrible contract. Two guys are tied for 8. Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford. You know, you could theoretically say that the contract for Stafford worked out. They won a Super Bowl. They're terrible this year. They're going to be terrible next year. The Stafford contract got a Super Bowl. You paid $40 million, and Cooper Kupp had a transcendent year. You delivered a Super Bowl in a relocation football organization. You won fans. You got a brand new stadium. I don't know. I think Stafford was worth the investment. They won a Super Bowl. They moved off Goff, went with him, and they won. This Dak Prescott contract at $40 million, he's got one playoff win. He's got one playoff win. Number 10, Cousins, $35 million. Have they got their return on investment? Well, he's not in the 40s. He's in the 30s. They're 7-1. He's won a ton of games. Coach really didn't like him. I don't know. At the end of the day, you could say whatever you want about Kirk Cousins. He's got a pretty damn good record since he's been in Washington. It's under market value. You're not paying $47 million. Kyler Murray makes more than a guy who's thrown for 4,000 yards 7 times in the last 10 years. How's that possible? To me, that's a steal. Jared Goff, $33.5. What a terrible contract. Has to be one of the worst in the league. Carson Wentz, $32 million for the Commandos. Commandos, Commanders, Redskins, Snyders, suck-ass organization. Who cares what their name is? I'm going to start calling them, guess what? The Washington Subpoenas. Carson Wentz makes $32 million a year. Wow. Then you got Matt Ryan at 30. Let's see how many of these quarterbacks are winners. Rodgers is a winner. Wilson's a winner. Murray, kind of. Deshaun, keep an eye on that. How many games did he actually win when he was in Houston? I don't think many. Josh Allen has turned the franchise around in Buffalo. They had 11 years of awful football. Derek Carr, Dak, because the division stunk forever and they owned the Eagles. He's 7-3 against them. And owns the Commanders, owns the Giants. Dak's feasted on every team in the NFC East. Stafford, really? Cousins? Again, once you get under the $40 million, unless you're Wentz in golf, you're under market value. You're $15 million under market value. So my question here is this. Where does Jalen fit in that? You think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to pay $50.5 million for a quarterback who can't even find Devonta Smith? And when you have a lesser team, because of the money you're going to pay, you're confident that he's going to be able to carry a football team, and you're not going to be part of the golf and Wentz contract situation again because you can't put the team around him. One of the reasons why that Wentz team also fell apart, bad contracts, and you had to start dumping guys. Who was Wentz throwing to in his last 2 years in Philly? Garbage cans. Where does he fit in here? Now, it's good to hear that he doesn't want to be the highest paid guy. Okay. What exactly does that mean? What exactly does that mean? Okay. He's not having trouble finding W's. Win a playoff game, dude. Then come talk to me. Beating the Texans, the Commandos, and the Steelers doesn't move it for me. Jay Bell, Sills, I agree with you. But what's the alternative? You just let Jalen leave? No, I think you've got to be smart, and you're hoping that this kid, which I think he is, has a good head on his shoulders to know, I've got to do what Brady did. And again, it's hard when you have an agent, especially an agency like Clutch Sports, to sit there and not want to get the most money you possibly can. By the way, if he gets bounced in the opening round, Eagles will use that against him. We can't pay the man any more than $35. $7 million. Bro, he's not going to take $7 million. Odell Beckham's going to make $7 million when he walks. He, by the way, was cleared today, and he's going to pick a team soon. Jerry may have to come up with $10 million. Sills wants to let Jalen leave and trade the farm for Josh Allen. Okay? You might get him for $40 a year if you're lucky. $40 a year? We're talking now. We're not talking at 46, 50 million. I think it's somewhere 35, maybe. I think it's 30, 35 if you want to keep that team intact. If he's not a $45 million a year guy, I don't care what his record is. Garoppolo's record is 41-19 and has done a billion times more things, and he'll never make $45 million in the open market. The guy in San Francisco wins more than your guy. And you say, well, he wins in spite of. That's not true. It's a lie. Anytime someone posts that or says that, it's a lie. Because when he's not in the starting lineup, they lose at a magnificent rate. I've told you this. Kyle Shanahan is 9-29 without him. There is no way to look at that other than that. And Garoppolo is far from elite. And he'll never make $45 million. He wins more than Jalen. Shit, he wins more than just about every quarterback in the league right now. Jimmy G's a bum and overrated. Okay, well, I'll take his record. Again, I want to double check that. I want to make sure I'm right because and when we get to the top of the hour, I want to show you something else here that we got on playoff teams and quarterbacks records here. Because I went deeper into it. Jimmy Garoppolo's stats. Let me go here and take a look at this. And I want to make sure that I'm getting exactly right. Okay. 36 and 17 and 5 and 2. He's 41-19 and 0 with 2 NFC championship appearances and 1 NFC title and a Super Bowl appearance. 41-19 is overrated. No, Drew Bledsoe's overrated. 41-19. Anybody who posts that is an idiot. Idiot. El goes, we understand, Seals. Garoppolo is your Italian brother and Jalen is our green brother. No, I'm pointing out that you're not going to pay a guy who's 41-19, and all you guys keep throwing at me is he's a winner and telling me, well, Garoppolo's doesn't count. And Jalen's a 45. What makes Jalen Hurts a $45 million a year player? His 8-0 start? Jesus, man. This kid here who's not going to make, I think Garoppolo's making right now $29 million or $25 million. I know he took a $9 million haircut. So wait a minute here. So winning matters for Jalen at 8-0. This guy's 41-19 and it doesn't matter, and he sucks and he's overrated. What's your barometer on how you're paying a guy that's done nothing $45 million? Where are you seeing that? What is the one tangible thing that makes it so that he deserves $45 million? That's what I'm getting to here. I'm trying to figure it out. What is the one metric you're using? 8-0? The market? I don't think he's that good when it comes to being these other guys. He's not Mahomes. He's not Rodgers. He's not Allen. You got wide receiver on your team who in the last 2 weeks has got 12 catches for 89 yards, who you drafted in the first round. You can't get the ball to him for 2 years now. I mean, Devonta Smith, since he's been an Eagle, has put on pedestrian numbers. Pedestrian. It's better this year in the catch department. Not so much in the yards. It's kind of pretty much status quo. A.J. Brown coming in the building has actually stunted his growth. It's almost the same as a year ago. That's not true. Well, yeah, it is. I've got it in front of me. Yeah, it is. This is not hyperbole. I actually wrote them down. You want to pay a guy $50 million who single targets guys by design, I believe. Doesn't spread the ball around. We're third in offense. I know. Wait till that schedule hits next year. Dak Prescott sucks in big games. Steven says that Hurts is average on a great team, just like Wentz. I don't think he's average. Steven, I don't think Jalen Hurts, I do not believe he's average. I think he's a versatile threat. I do. I think he's versatile. Absolutely wanted Watson. I'll take him every night. That's why he got $230 million guaranteed. Sills, is Jalen supposed to force feed Devonta? No. He's just not a guy who's going to get him the football every week or every 3 weeks. Anton says, I agree with you, Dan. If Howie pays Hurts too early, he'll be back in the doghouse. Depends on what that number is. So, again, this is all going to depend. I want to show you something about winning in today's NFL. Okay? By the way, week 10 of the NFL, hour number 3, Dave Wannstedt from the NFL on Fox and also college football will join us. Okay? Some pretty good college football games. Man, we got a ton of shit. Nick Sirianni also said something about my boy Frank Reich, which I loved. Hour number 2, hit the like button here on a Football Friday. Keep it here on the National Football Show.